Okay, I'll call this meeting of the Dunn County Judicial Committee meeting to order. John Calabrese will be a little late, so he's asking me to chair the meeting tonight. Calling the roll, it looks like, except for John, Supervisor Bauer, Gilbert, and Wiltsey are here. Approval of the minutes. I've noted, Katie, that there's just a minor error ratio instead of a video. Did anybody see any other changes, additions, corrections?
Yeah, that error or that correction.
Okay, that's taken care of. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve. Make the motion to approve.
Okay, support. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Any public comments?
No.
Public comments. So staff reports and child support.
I have nothing to add unless anyone has any questions. Supervisor Wiltsey apparently saw a Facebook post. I was on Clint Moses's page from going down to Madison to visit with him, so I'm gonna have to go find that.
What was that like?
It was a long day, but it was very interesting. I would do it again. The only other time I've had the opportunity, it was virtual because of COVID, so. But you know, you get 30 minutes to an hour of your elected leader's time and time to.
Did you also feel you were getting their attention and their
Well,
assent?
they are lawmakers, so they are, I think, intentionally non-committal. But, you know, it was our time to talk about the good work we do and, you know, ask for their support and our budget asks, and we'll see what happens.
I was curious about the account, the audit. What did they do? Just randomly select the case? Or
Which one? I had two audits in the last month.
the data reliability?
Let me just check. So not the Department of Justice one. The data reliability. Okay, so that's the Federal Office of Child Support. And yeah, they just, they're picking cases from throughout the state and, for the prior fiscal year. And some days you'll have, or some years you'll have none selected, and this year we had one, and next year we could have 4. It's just a complete crapshoot.
Just spot check.
Yep.
Any other questions? Next is emergency.
Not a lot to add, just wanted to let you know that we did have a little bit of flooding over the weekend in the southern portion of our county. The Chippewa River did come up a little bit more than was expected. So we had a few roads in the like Springbrook kind of township area that had some water over the roadways, and a little bit of shouldering damage that we know of so far, nothing earth shattering and nothing, however, that's going to qualify for the Wisconsin Disaster Fund, but we might be able to get them some funding through Wisconsin DOT fund. So we're just going to try and work on that, but that's all the additional information I have.
I had a question from the report at the board meeting. So there's like 600 911 hang-up calls. What is that?
Yeah, so we have, we kind of classify our 911 calls that come in that are not, that we don't make a connection with. So we either have a 911 hang up where someone really dials 911 and it's disconnected. So was it someone playing with the phone and they clicked, you know, made a mistake? What dial?
It just seems like a lot.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Or we have 911 misdial, and that's where someone, like some of the businesses in towns, you have to hit a 9 to get an outside line, and they're making a long distance call, so they'll actually call 911, and they get, they stay on the line and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I made a mistake, things like that. So, yeah, it is a lot. A lot of people just, shove the phone in their pocket and before you know, it's making an emergency call.
But
And-
cell phones are not, like, have that built in, like.
Apple Watches.
emergency, yeah.
Yep, the Apple Watch, they bend their wrist just enough to hit that button on the side of their Apple Watch and it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and people understand it, some of them will just stay on the side. I am sorry, I just bent over, my phone is in my pocket and hit the button and, but yeah, that is a lot, but we deal with it a lot and we. Document it, of course, and if we hear anything suspicious in the background or anything, we do relay that to the officers, but for the most part, it's. Just mistakes.
My wife is an Apple Watch, and she accidentally called and she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you know, the gym."
Mhm.
Whatever that little thing is,
Mhm.
that does it do that,
Yep,
it appears
Yep.
to be fairly good.
it is.
Other questions or comments? Go on to Marcy.
I don't have anything to add if anybody has any questions. I guess the only thing I will add is, working with Oshkosh, University of Oshkosh, we opted for that rather than Ramsey County for our typical autopsy examination on one of the fire victims, so it's very interesting. It's a wonderful resource for us to have. We'll be billed for that, similar to what we're billed for an autopsy examination. The focus on our typical autopsy examination is tissue focused, and this is on skeletal remain focus. And so the charge is actually a little bit less, but Dr. Karsten was an excellent resource to work with throughout this. So, just thought I would share that.
I don't know if you can speak of it, was it the guy have a medical emergency and died before the fire
I can't speak of that at this point in time. All of our fire cases that we had are still open, none are closed, so we can't give any details. The determination of using this resource was basically just on the remains, on the condition of the remains once they were discovered. Ramsey County wouldn't have had anything to offer for us. For cause and manner of death and even identification purposes. Oh, he's amazing to work with.
Good to hear you've got a good assistant.
Yes,
Sheriff?
I'll try and speak up so everybody can hear me too, but I don't have anything to add to my written report. And you guys just seen my smiling face Wednesday night at the full board meeting, but certainly open for any questions you might have.
Any questions?
At the board meeting on Wednesday, you said you were gonna get a couple, coming up to pass background checks. Did they pass the background checks to hire new officers then, or?
Yep, I got 3 conditional offers out to 3 hopefully new deputies that went out, and 2 of them will hopefully be on board within a month, maybe one of them even within 2 weeks. And the third one, the female applicant, that I can't hire her until she's completed with recruit school, I think May 26th. So as soon as she's done, her conditional offer is pending her graduation from recruit school. And then she'll start with us immediately thereafter.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thanks, Sheriff. I'll get back to you a little later.
Sounds good.
Katie, clerk reports.
I don't have anything else to add. I guess the only thing is, we're doing our annual report at the May county board meeting. So if there's anything you want me to talk about, explain, let me know, and I'm more than happy to explain it to the county board members. If you have any questions or curiosity, if you want me to highlight anything, or I didn't have my written report as it is, but I'm more than happy to reach out about something different if you have any questions or curiosity about the department. You can email me or something too. I don't mean to put you on the spot right now, but at any point, if you have anything, any question about it, just let me know.
Any thoughts at the moment?
I'll just do a general overview and I'll throw a few things out there and we'll see where it goes.
We're always dealing with budget issues and your ability to collect funds and give them back, you know, in the general fund. I think, people would appreciate hearing,
Okay.
Respond a little bit, you know, how it's gone in the past, how it's gone this year.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I do have a slide on that, so I'll elaborate a little bit more.
Any other comments or questions? Curious what happens when you have a jury trial, when it doesn't show up.
So we normally have all the jurors called in, and there are instances in where the court will actually assess the jury fee onto the defendant. It's happened in criminal cases, not civil cases, so. What we'll do is we'll add up all the costs for the mileage and the half-day rate of pay for all of our jurors coming in, and then we will assess that money towards the defendant when they're picked up on the warrant. And hopefully they make payments to us.
They don't just automatically lose the case.
No, not in the criminal world, nope.
Any other questions or comments? CJCC, sir.
Well, I'd just like to add, next month is our 15th anniversary of the Criminal Justice Collaboration Council, which is pretty amazing. Seems like it was just 10 years, a couple years ago. But I'm working with Doug Mell, the communication specialist. He's going to be putting out an article, so hopefully we get some press on our 15th anniversary. So we'll certainly share what gets picked up. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I was curious about the market vending machine, where it is and who it serves.
So Public Health did put in an application for one vending machine, and their plan is to have it down here outside of Public Health. And that is the full cost of it would be borne by the state. So we've got a good chance of getting that. It makes sense with this being a government center. It's more private down here as well. But certainly life-saving medication that'll be available to the general public.
And you keep track of who takes out how many? I mean, is there a wand that they?
I have no idea how it works, but essentially it's free and it's available. That's about what I know.
I'm curious on the grants, the medication assisted treatments. You know, you got maybe something $1,000, and what does that change? What do we apply that to? Is that like, I assume they're already getting prescriptions, but if they need them.
So the original $150,000 grant we have for the jail is for a substance abuse counselor, so a full-time employee at the sheriff's office. And then some of the funds go towards programming and then medication that is above and beyond of what the current jail contract provides. The medications are quite expensive. It's about $1,200 for one injection for 1 month's worth of medication. So the new grant we just received from the State Department of Health Services is for $180,000, and that is strictly for the medication because we already have the staff.
So it'll be able for us to provide the medication, while they're incarcerated up to 3 months prior to release. And then in the community if they need. Essentially, it, for people that have opioid use disorders or alcohol use disorders, when they go from zero, nothing in their system, to maybe back to the level that they were accustomed to, that's where it's at risk of overdose. So it is overdose prevention, essentially.
Is it for specific drugs? I mean,
Yeah.
that they,
Opioid use disorder and alcohol use disorder are the only two that are approved for Vivitrol at this point, and that's what the grant is allowing us to do. It's a non-narcotic injectable medication.
would they have gotten it otherwise? I mean, or, you know, I assume that you have a doctor, or, you know, if they prescribe something. Would they have gotten it otherwise? They
No,
wouldn't have?
probably not. Probably not.
Okay. So they don't get it even if they do need it, or they're getting it if they don't need it?
Well, part of it is making education and awareness available that there is medication assisted treatment for opioid use alcohol. But then it's a chance to get started on those medications while they're inside the jail, and then they can continue that. So the jail substance abuse coordinator shall actually make that follow-up appointment for people. If someone's on Badger Care, it can be covered in the community. If there's a gap, there's not. If it's private insurance, it's not covered, which is interesting. I suppose it depends on the private insurance, but the few we've had is not been covered.
Sarah, would you talk about what it does, though, in terms of pregnancy reduction, and then if you use substances while you're taking it?
Sure. It essentially is a blocker, so the person cannot, their receptors are blocked, so they won't get a intoxication from if they did use opioids or alcohol. It's a full blocker, so they won't feel the effects. That coupled with the cognitive traditional based treatment is where the most effective route. So it's medication plus learning refusal skills, learning what triggers are, learning all sorts of different things.
But that money is specifically for that drug, that's it.
Correct, and that is part of the state's opioid settlement, I believe.
Paying it back to the pharmaceutical company.
Trying to prevent overdose.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you.
Anybody else? See from Andrea's report that she's having surgery and be here today. Does anybody have any question on her report or comments on it? See, she's been able to hire and victim witness coordinator. That's good news. Does anybody know what fierce conversations is as supervisory training?
Hi, ladies, you were just at the department head meeting.
After midnight.
I haven't had the training yet, right? So maybe I should speak to it. Did you go with human resources to it?
So Fierce Conversations is a curriculum that we're gonna work with all of our management. We have about 60-ish senior managers, lead worker, department heads. And so probably not dissimilar to a lot of other professions or a lot of other businesses. People generally move into management without any management experience. They're good at what they did. And then they get promoted, and then they start into that role without really a whole lot of foundation. A lot of people take on a lot of self-education, a lot of reading, going to courses, things like that. But we're trying to do a better job through administration, through HR, of trying to give people tools. So Fierce Conversations is really a performance management. How do you have conversations with people about in a way that helps them to be able to hear but helps them to be able to grow, maybe address areas of deficit, and really bring out the best of what people have to offer in the workplace. So we're offering it to all of our management staff. Our HR staff did go. UW Stout has been using the curriculum for quite some time. And so our HR staff went to the Stout training to preview it before we opted into it. And after this first round of it, actually in years going forward, we're going to partner with UW Stout just to do it together, because it'll result in a cost savings for both of us.
Where does the fierceness come in those days?
And I think just that ability to be like brave about having sometimes difficult conversations.
You have to train teachers. When you become a teacher, you also have to think of yourself differently. Students, think about the role that needs to be played. So I can imagine it's something.
Yeah, and it's like not sandwiching things, so I don't go, Marcy, you're an amazing staff person and you do such a good job here. But if you'd only come to work. That's aggressive. But people struggle with, so I know one of the presenters that I've shared with you before, one of the presenters does this thing where she's in this training and this guy is sitting in the front in the training for the entire training with a booger. And she said, why doesn't anybody tell him he's got a booger hanging out of his nose? We don't hurt his feelings. Well, right, we'd rather him walk around all day with a booger hanging out of his nose than hurt his feelings by telling him to, that he's got a booger hanging out of his nose. So it's just human nature. We struggle with, especially Midwest nice, but we struggle with just being candid with other people and ultimately seeing that as a way to help people to improve versus it being a reflection on who they are or their value.
Any other questions, comments? Was she having surgery? Was she doing something?
I haven't seen a heard from her, assuming all is well. Hopefully.
She gonna be out for a while, or she got something taking place?
I don't know, she didn't share that with me, I'm not sure how long she plans to be off for.
She's got plans made, so we'll hope she's in good enough shape to take care of it. Okay, no items placed at the request of the chair, no actions to be taken, eligibility hiring list for the sheriff's office. Do we? What actions do we need on that, Sheriff?
I just need blessing to dispose of the current list. I've hired everybody off the list that's hireable, or they turned us down already and went to another agency. So I want to start a new hiring process again. I currently I'll have, after I hire these 3, I'll have 2 more openings to fill on patrol. So I want to get the ball rolling on that right away, so we can grab as many good candidates as we can.
So it's basically a motion to cancel the first search and to open a new one.
Correct. Yep. I just need this committee's approval to dispose of the current list, and so we can move on to another hiring process by county ordinance, civil service ordinance.
Can I get a motion to that effect? Okay.
I'll second.
Supervisor Bauer moves, and Supervisor Gilbert seconds. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes. Reports, resolutions, ordinances. None of those, I guess. Any announcements? John, do you have anything? Next meeting, according to this, is May 22 at 4:30. So, hearing nothing else, we're adjourned.
Confusion as well. We got that resolved and we should be good to go.
It's worked out well.
Yeah.